Hi everyone, welcome to GoLocal Live. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for tuning in this Thursday afternoon for some very exciting news. Now, a familiar face, Dr. Stephen Salloway at the Warren Alpert Medical School at Brown University, joined us back in June, giving us an update on Alzheimer's research and his work in a key drug development that just this week some major news has been announced. So, Doctor, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks, Kate, for having me back in.
Well, I just want to recap for folks and talk with us a little bit about your work on this drug development, and then this week, hearing now that it's going to be moving forward. So tell folks where things are at now currently.
Well, this is really exciting news. We've been testing a medicine that has a funny name called aducanumab that's being developed by Biogen up in Cambridge for a number of years, and for patients with early Alzheimer's disease, so early stages of Alzheimer's. It had some encouraging results, which we published in 2016. It was covered around the world because it looked really good. And then many people were very interested, and we had 60 patients with early Alzheimer's on this medicine over at Butler Hospital in our memory and aging program. And from our point of view, they seemed to be doing well, so we were encouraged. And then all of a sudden in March, I got an email that the drug looked like it didn't meet a outcome analysis, and as an interim analysis, and the Biogen was going to stop testing it. And we were like blown away. How can that be? It was looking good. And our patients were really devastated. And this was earlier this year, and they had to come off the drug. And some of them had been on for years and actually doing well on it. And then last week, we got the news, this is the comeback of the year, that additional data came in, and actually it looked like the drug was having a positive effect. And Biogen has been speaking with the FDA, and the FDA has given them the green light to submit for approval. So the drug is, where we thought it was not going forward, is now back online and being considered for approval. This would be the first drug approved for Alzheimer's in 16 years, and the first drug to actually target the key elements of the disease, actually removing the amyloid plaques that build up in the brain and hopefully slowing down memory loss. So this is a major development.
So you talk again about those highs, the lows, the highs. I mean,
Wow.
It is a roller coaster in the world of medicine as it pertains to this drug. Now, you talk about Biogen in talks with the FDA to look to move forward to green light this. How optimistic are you?
Well, the data, it looks promising. It's going to be submitted early next year. The FDA, if they decide to fast track it, usually they have up to 6 months to review it, and then we'll see what they decide. We're certainly fingers crossed and hopeful about it. And then if it is approved, which would be terrific, and then the insurance companies and Medicare have to decide if they're going to cover it or not. And if they do, then it will become available and people can start using it, which would be fantastic.
And one of the elements you had spoken with us before the show is those patients who had been using it when it had been halted in March. Do they now have the opportunity to revisit that from that trial basis?
Another great development is Biogen, based on these results, will be offering a new study called a redosing study. So all the patients, the 60 at our site who want to resume treatment with it, can get it. And without a placebo, won't be tested against an inactive drug. And our patients are very excited about this. And there are patients also at Rhode Island Hospital and another site in Rhode Island as well that were a part of this study. So they will be able to go back on this drug too. So Rhode Island has played a really big role in developing this drug. So I'm so glad you're covering this, and I'm so glad our patients will have access to it. They're really excited about it.
Let's talk a little bit about the nuts and the bolts of the drug, doctor. As you said, addressing Alzheimer's and that plaque buildup, if you will. Who really is eligible, and at what point when they see a doctor would this drug be introduced?
Right. Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, Kate, because this drug right now is designed for people with early Alzheimer's. So that means that they're having some memory loss, but they're still functioning pretty well. And when we do a PET scan, we see that there's a buildup of amyloid plaques in the brain.
Physically see this in the
Yep,
in the PET scan.
you do a brain scan and you can see the plaques lighting up. And those people who, early Alzheimer's with plaque buildup is who we're targeting. And what the medicine does, it's an antibody that binds to the plaques and actually removes them from the brain. So, and that's, the results were clearly demonstrated in the early trial and in this most recent, in last week as well. So we're really excited about that because this will be the first treatment that actually targets the disease process in order to slow it down. So that's who it's intended for right now, and if it were to be approved, that would probably be the people that it's approved for. That would be the indication for early Alzheimer's. However, drugs like this, we're testing drugs like this for people who have the plaques but no memory loss, more for prevention of memory loss. And we're going to be doing more studies like this coming up very soon. So people who are interested should sign up for our prevention registry, and then they might be eligible to participate in a trial like this and find out whether or not they're at higher risk. And often, 70% of the people that come in and sign up find out they're actually at lower risk, and they get really good news.
We've talked about the registry last time when you were here in the summer. You want 2020 people signing up by 2020. You're really close to that goal.
Yeah, I tell you, we've gotten great coverage, and people in Rhode Island are just terrific. I think we got just the right state for fighting Alzheimer's. We're right size, and the leadership of the state are really behind this. The Alzheimer's Association is, very robust, and so people have been responding and signing up for our registry. You can either sign up online or you can call up and do it by phone. So we're getting close. We have about 200 more people to meet our goal. We're getting toward the end of the year, and we want to make it, so please sign up.
So we'll provide that link as we did last time. We'll do it again. Make sure you know where to go to get more information about the registry. But again, that big news, Biogen in talks with the FDA, getting key researchers on board, back on board, if you will. Now let's just take it back a little bit, Doctor. You talk about where things were at this past spring. How long was this drug in the making? I mean, before it even got to those clinical trials, again, for that average person watching who doesn't, it's a hard concept to grasp, but, how long has this been in the making?
Right. Well, there's a lot that goes into drug development for any disease, and especially a complicated disease like Alzheimer's disease. This drug actually has an interesting story because it started over in Europe with a company there, and they took older people who lived a long life and either without Alzheimer's, or if they had Alzheimer's, it didn't get worse. So something was fighting the Alzheimer process in the brain. And they identified a number of antibodies, and among them was this antibody called aducanumab that targets amyloid. So it came from people who had healthy aging, and there seemed to be something retarding or fighting against Alzheimer's, and that's how this drug developed. So it was a number of years in the development stage before it got to testing in people, and then we started testing it, and I'm just so proud of Rhode Island's role in this. We've had a really major role in bringing this forward in around 2013.
So how much was your phone ringing off the hook after this development last week?
Well, my secretary told me today people are popping in. They say, gee, we want to find out about this drug. How do we get on it? People are writing from all around the world, really, asking how they can get on it. And it's great. This is the kind of coverage that we want. This is how we're going to make progress against Alzheimer's. And so we're right in the eye of the cyclone moving forward against a really, dreaded disease.
And as you had mentioned last time you were in, the healthcare costs associating with caring for Alzheimer's is just exponentially bigger than any other health concern facing aging folks. Do you think folks have an understanding about just how big Alzheimer's healthcare costs are?
Right. Well, I think Alzheimer's is the major public health crisis of our time, the major disease of our time, because people are living longer around the world. The cost of care right now, if you put together the actual formal and informal care that families provide, is greater than that for cancer and for heart disease, and it's going to grow as the aging population grows. So we've got to do, that's why this drug and treatments like this and prevention of Alzheimer's is so important. The earlier that we intervene, I think the healthier people are going to be. And really, what we're talking about is healthy brain aging. And we hope to have some more exciting news on that topic very, very soon.
Okay, a little bit of a teaser. Sounds like we're going to be having Dr. Salloway back in the studio soon. But again, with this big news this week, Biogen moving forward with talks with the FDA, looking to get this drug approved. And a key player in this process, Dr. Stephen Salloway at the Warren Alpert Medical School at Brown University, came back in to give us the update. So, Doctor, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
And of course, I did not wear this from any medical purpose. Did not think that there was going to be any theme here, but want to wish everyone who's watching a very happy, healthy, and safe Halloween. And we'll see you back tomorrow on Go Local Live here in downtown Providence. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel.